The film starts with a group of high school students on a field trip to a train station. Their guide for the tour is Kazuya Takaichi, the train conductor. With great enthusiasm, he explains how bullet trains work and describes the complex engineering that keeps them running smoothly. At the end of the tour, a few curious students ask, "Why did you decide to become a train conductor instead of a train pilot?" Takaichi smiles and replies warmly, "Because I love helping people and welcoming passengers aboard. That's why I'm so passionate about my work." The Hayabusa 60 train arrives at the platform. A group of high school students on an educational trip is also about to board. All of them are extremely excited, but one of them, Yuzuki, seems the least excited. In the business compartment, we see a politician, a YouTuber, and a prominent businessman who are hiding their identities and heading to Tokyo, and the train leaves the station. Everything is going as usual, but suddenly the control center is thrown into an emergency. A call comes in from an unknown person, claiming that bombs are planted on the Hayabusa 60 train, Takaichi's train. The man had warned that the bombs would detonate if the train's speed fell below 100 km/h. At first, no one took the threat seriously, but soon after, the control center received shocking news. The cargo train had exploded, just as the man had said the moment its speed dropped. The man calls again and explains that it was a demo to convince everyone. This threat shakes everyone. The terrorist's demands are also revealed. He wants 100 billion yen deposited into his account. Only then will he defuse the bombs, but the government clearly states that they will not listen to this terrorist, as Japan's policy is to never negotiate with terrorists or meet their demands. As the news spreads throughout the city and across the country, panic quickly takes hold. Families of the thousands of passengers on board are left terrified and desperate for answers. Panic also spreads among those in real trouble. Meanwhile, a YouTuber passenger on the train uses his social media platform to create an online portal where people can make donations and collect the terrorists' requested amount, as the government had refused to pay him anything. Amazingly, people across Japan donate, and money begins pouring in. He constantly shares screenshots of each donation and his account balance on his account. Meanwhile, everyone on the train was discussing who might have planted the bomb. Everyone assumed one of the bombers was definitely on board, and suspicion fell on a man wearing a mask who was calmly eating his lunch while everyone was panicking. Here, we learn about his past. He owned an aircraft repair company. Some time ago, his company repaired a helicopter. However, due to a single person's negligence, the helicopter was unable to be repaired. Many students were traveling in the helicopter, and it crashed. This led to major losses for him and his company, and ever since, people have come to despise him. Whenever someone recognizes him, their anger only intensifies. Goto, already troubled, falls into depression. However, a politician sitting next to him, who is also embroiled in numerous scandals, offers him support, saves his life, and tells him that scandals are eventually forgotten. Amid all the chaos, a girl appears, Yuzuki, the same student who had seemed odd from the very beginning of the movie. It's revealed that the person behind planting the bombs is none other than Yuzuki herself. Yes, a schoolgirl had orchestrated such a massive scheme, all to take revenge on her father. Yuzuki's father, a retired police officer, had been abusive and never treated her with kindness. He had habits like beating her and abusing her. He tortured her a lot and even taunted her for being a girl. After Yuzuki's mother's death, she became completely alone. She hated when her father told her stories of his false bravery. She knew that her father had built a false image of being a hero after the 1975 train bombings. Back in 1975, there had been a similar case involving a bullet train explosion. Many passengers were killed, and when the police finally tracked down the culprit, he blew himself up. The government didn't want to show its citizens that they had failed to catch the terrorist, so they spread the false news that Yuzuki's father had killed him. Yuzuki's father was then made a hero. Everyone praised him, but Yuzuki knew the truth and wanted to expose it. While her father was considered a hero by the whole world, she wanted to show everyone what kind of person he really was. She wanted to avenge her father's every bad behavior. That's why she devised such a grand plan and went to meet the son of the man who had killed himself and planted the bombs on the trains in the first place. The man also wanted to avenge his father's death against the government. That's why he joined the plan, made these bombs, and planted them all over the train. Yuzuki tells the passengers, "I'm giving you a choice. One of you can get up and kill me. All these bombs are connected to the pacemaker in my heart," she says. "The moment I die, they'll automatically be deactivated." Hearing her story, Takaichi is deeply moved and slowly walks toward her. Despite her insistence, instead of killing her, he embraces her. The rescue operation begins. The authorities decide to first shift the passengers to the compartment that doesn't have a bomb. After enough people have entered that compartment, it is detached from the moving train, but many lives are still in danger. To save everyone else, a man in the control room hatches a plan. They will run a new train parallel to the Hayabusa 60 train, transferring people from the Hayabusa 60 to another train. A new train approaches near Hayabusa 60. Both trains maintain the same speed. A bridge is built between the two trains, and the passengers, trembling with fear, cross over one by one to the other side, but 9 passengers were still trapped inside the train. The train was moving at lightning speed toward Tokyo, and Tokyo Station was closed that day due to construction. Time was running short. If the train had slowed down, they would have died. If they had stopped at Tokyo Station, even more people would have died and the entire Tokyo Station would have been destroyed. Even worse thing is that another train was also approaching. Takaichi, who had been determined to save everyone, realizes that not only the passengers on the Hayabusa 60, but also those on the other train, are now in danger. Just moments before the two trains are about to collide, Takaichi quickly switches the junction and diverts his train onto another track. This averts a major danger, but the lives of the 9 people inside the Hayabusa 60 are still in danger. Takaichi then makes a powerful move. They first detach the part of the train that was suspected to be carrying a bomb, and then as the train progresses, they also detach the compartment containing the people from the train and, at the same time, switch the tracks. The engine of the train starts running on a different track, while the compartment containing the people remains on the same track. The lives of all the passengers in the train compartment were finally out of danger as the train gradually slowed down and came to a complete stop. Everyone was safely rescued. Meanwhile, once the train reached an open area, the control room reduced its speed even further, and it exploded. It exploded under the impact of the bomb. However, no one was killed in this massive explosion. Just then, the police arrived, seeking to apprehend Yuzuki. They questioned her, asking if she felt any guilt or would like to defend herself. Yuzuki didn't say anything, but instead extended her trembling hands to be handcuffed. Takaichi's assistant conductor, who was injured during the chaos, was taken to the hospital. Meanwhile, Takaichi and the YouTuber emerged as true heroes. The way they handled the crisis earned them admiration from everyone. In the end, every life was saved. And with that, the movie ends. Now it's your turn to subscribe.